Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Chatting with the Cougars, catching up with our outstanding head coaches of our athletic teams at the College of Charleston. And today we're going to talk a little bump, set, spike, because we're joined by the head volleyball coach, Jason Kepner. And Kep, first of all, thanks for joining us on Chatting with the Cougars.
Absolutely, Everett. I appreciate you having me, and look forward. I'm excited to share some information with the Cougar Nation.
All right. Now, Jason, unfortunately, we're not doing this interview in person because of the COVID-19 and obviously the coronavirus. Talk a little bit about what that has done and how that has affected your program. And let's start out, I guess, with the beach volleyball program because actually, Coach, you were in season when all of this happened.
Yeah, it was definitely a difficult situation. I think that we had played 9 matches. We had one road trip and then one home tournament, and we were literally leaving the next day to go to Coastal Carolina to play in a tournament, and we're told that we were shut down. So it was kind of one of those things where you try to figure out so much information in such a short period of time that you're just giving out whatever information you have, and a lot of the questions you get from the players are, I don't know. When are we coming back? I don't know. And you just try to give them the best info you can. But a little disappointing that the season ended. I know the players would have loved to continue the season. We kind of had a rough first weekend playing 4 top 10 programs in the country in beach volleyball. And then turning around the next weekend and going 3-2 at our home tournament was definitely we played a lot better. We were a little more consistent, and was kind of looking forward to continuing on with the season and improving as we went. But it kind of is what it is, and excited that the players got in another year and they have that opportunity. So there's definitely some pluses to it, but overall it was just kind of devastating to some of the players. And to me as a coach, that's kind of what you do. You live for – I don't live for the Zoom meetings and the paperwork and the scheduling and all that stuff. I live for the competition and playing. So kind of tough to immerse myself in the part of the job that you don't enjoy as much as the competition and practice side, but we're surviving right now.
You know, Jason, you talk about kind of the administrative side of it in terms of the planning and the paperwork, and you're in a unique situation because, yeah, you're the volleyball coach, but you have a beach volleyball squad that you have to take care of, but you also have your regular volleyball season, which takes place in August. And, Coach, I would imagine somewhat a little different look at recruiting this year for the next year class with, well, not being able to get out and see girls that could potentially be Cougars.
Yeah, it's been a challenge. We were fortunate that we were relatively ahead of the game when it came to recruiting for next year, and then also for the 2021 class. We were in pretty good shape, having gotten out and seen a lot of kids play. So it wasn't as challenging, I guess, as maybe some of the other programs had. Obviously, we weren't able to go see some of the younger kids play, but those opportunities will come. But overall, I'm excited about the team we've got coming in, and we still did some recruiting and some virtual meetings, and we were fortunate that Elka, our video person at the College of Charleston, put together a great facilities tour video that we were able to send out and kind of try to get as much information out as we can, and spent a lot of time scouring the internet for pictures of Charleston and TD Arena and videos that have been done in the past just about the city of Charleston, and we're fortunate to have the ability to have all that at our fingertips, and there's not many bad pictures or bad videos or anything out there of the city itself. So we can still do a pretty good job of promoting the sport and the program virtually at this point.
You know, Coach, while the city kind of sells itself and the facilities there at TD Arena, they do as well, but also winning. And for so long, you've been so dominant, whether it had been in the Southern Conference or the CAA. You're the all-time winningest coach at Charleston in terms of volleyball history. Last year, not a typical volleyball year, but you had some bright spots. And I guess the first one I want to ask you about, Coach, is just the fortune that you had of hosting the defending national champions in volleyball, the Stanford Cardinal, at TD Arena. I think that's a testament to you and your program.
Yeah, I mean, it was an amazing experience, and I've known Kevin, the head coach at Stanford. We were on the junior national team together back in 1991, so I've known Kevin for a long time, and he wanted to. They have obviously being a quarter school, I believe they're a quarter school, but they start later, so they had a lot more time in the preseason to kind of travel around, and he reached out to me and wanted to know if we were hosting the first weekend because they would love to come. And so it was just a great opportunity volleyball is growing so much in the city of Charleston, and to bring a team that won the national championship and is returning players that were with the national team and the 3-time national player of the year, and bringing them to our facility was just a great experience and great opportunity for our team and for the city. Obviously, I don't know if that's the way with such a young team that I had that I would prefer to open the season. But again, you want to play the best competition, and our team was excited and competed hard. And I think we performed well. And I think it was a great learning experience for the young team.
Coach, it was a great crowd. I'm sure you're thinking, man, if I get this type of atmosphere every game, we'd be okay. But there was one particular play, Coach, and it was actually kind of like the volleyball picture of the year. We're going to take a look at it here. Talk a little bit about if you remember what happened on this play during that contest.
Yeah, it was a match against UNC Wilmington, and it was during our pep supper game where we have all the students there, and we had a good crowd of probably about 1,500 to 1,800. And Kayla, who's laying on the ground there, went up and got a kill, and Logan, number 9, was covering her. And when Kayla came down and got the kill, she turned to celebrate and tripped over top of Logan and fell to the ground. And so it was kind of a perfect picture of just the whole team laughing. Logan's like, "Oh my God, what did I do?" And the rest of the team is just kind of laughing. And I think you can see CK in the background there, a little blurry, but she's got a smile on her face. And I'm probably just shaking my head laughing that this is just typical of the team. They have a great time together, and every once in a while they do some crazy things that lead to moments like this where we just kind of get a chance to laugh. So, that's just a kill led to a trip, led to the whole team laughing at the player laying on the ground is pretty much what we got.
And, Coach, when you have a young team of that nature and you're somewhat having a difficult season, you need those types of moments to kind of lighten the mood and just remember that at the end, it's just a game. And these girls obviously are outstanding volleyball players. You talked about it, Coach, last year, a very young team. Talk about some of the girls that you have coming back for this upcoming season that you're really counting on to do big things for the Cougars.
I think that, we're counting on all of them. I guess I can talk about, we return our only senior on next year's team is Logan Minuski. That's our one captain, was a starting libero. She's the one that takes people out in the photos. And so she's going to have a huge role for us. But after that, we've got a pretty big junior class and sophomore class. And the ones that are returning with a lot of playing experience, Claire Campbell was a starting middle for us. Emma Falk was a starting middle. Logan Pope, who played right side for us, didn't start at the beginning of the year, but came on really strong for us at the end, along with Molly Russell, who they played right side for us when we made the transition to putting Mandy, who was our right side, back on the outside. And so that crew is going to have an important role for us. We return all 3 of our setters that have experience: Brooke Harris, Amani Dunstan, and Tori Carpenter. And then Caroline Bauer, who started for us at the beginning of the year, kind of went through some of the growing pains of being a freshman and playing her first match against Stanford. But I thought she came along really well at the end of the year and was having a great beach season, had made it into our top 10. and is really growing that way. So we've got a huge number of players that I think we're going to rely on next year to continue that. We're going to need them all. Along with the incoming freshmen that we have, we're going to have a lot of opportunities for people to step up and take on a much bigger role.
Coach, you talk about those incoming freshmen. You never really want to have to rely on freshmen. You kind of want them to get their feet wet. But again, in some instances, because of the way that you recruit, you expect those to provide some depth and some maybe coming off the bench. So speak to those freshmen that you were able to recruit before all of this coronavirus stuff blew up in our face, Coach. Tell us a little bit about the freshmen that you have coming in.
Yeah, we only have 2 freshmen that are coming into the indoor program. One from Minnesota named Sophie Vogel. She is a 6'1" middle, plays for a really good club team up in Minnesota. Has a volleyball family. Dad's is a really good volleyball player that I've known for a long time, and they got a beach volleyball court in their backyard. So she's kind of grown up around the sport. Super athletic. Plays above 10 feet, so she's going to have the ability to have an impact for us. She plays a little outside in high school, plays middle and club, so a little bit versatile. And so I think we'll hopefully get an opportunity to get her on the court and get some experience while we play. But I think she's going to have a pretty big impact for us. And then Sam Campion, who is a outside hitter from – I guess I don't know where she'll say she's from. She was in Colorado when we recruited her. And then her senior year, she moved to California. So I don't know if she'll say she's from Colorado or she's from California, but she is a very just steady, experienced outside hitter. 6 rotations, really good ball control, which we're going to need to keep everyone involved. So I think she's going to have an opportunity right off the bat to play and do nice things for her. So I think both of those guys coming in will have a great opportunity to get some experience and play for us. And then obviously you're still recruiting. We have one transfer that I believe I can talk about because she signed a grant aid for us. Her name is Lexi. She is from South Carolina. She played at Jacksonville, and she is a outside hitter who started for them the entire year, was second on their team in kills. And so I think that experience is going to help us with someone who just was someone they relied on heavily. And so I think she can have a pretty big impact for us too.
Coach, I'm sure I'm not the only person in Cougar Nation who is not up to speed on volleyball. And so when you think about indoor and beach volleyball, Coach, for the young ones like myself, when it comes to volleyball knowledge, talk a little bit about some of the differences between beach volleyball, indoor volleyball. Is it the same girls? Do they kind of cross over? Talk a little bit about that to help educate Cougar Nation on what you have to deal with coaching, 2 different teams, even though it's the same sport.
Yeah, so we do things a little differently than some of the programs in the country. There's a lot of programs. The normal setup is 2 completely separate sports. So you've got beach volleyball players, indoor players, coaches don't overlap. Maybe you'll have one player that does both. That's kind of the normal situation. We have during the fall, we have an indoor team and we have a beach team. So next year we're actually going to have 8 beach only players, and we'll have probably 14 or 15 indoor players. So they will train separately. I have 2 indoor assistants and I have 1 beach assistant. So Jake, my beach assistant, will train the beach kids all fall while we kind of focus, and my focus is on the indoor program. And then when January rolls around, the entire indoor program will join the beach program, and we kind of do a little bit of both. So my 2 indoor assistants, Damien and CK, will train some individual work with the indoor players in the gym, just to kind of work on some technique stuff and skill work while they're starting to get back into the beach program. And so we're a separate kind of sport in the fall and then a combined sport in the spring. And then the biggest differences between the two when you play are indoor, you got 6 people on the court, you got a bench and subs and everything. Beach is a little more of an individual sport where there's just 2 of you. The 2 of you are playing. We'll rank our teams 1 through 5. And then say we're playing South Carolina, our number 1 team will play South Carolina's number 1 team, 2s versus 2s the whole way down. And then whoever wins 3 of those 5 individual matches wins the duel. So you can win your match and lose the overall duel, or you could lose your match and the team still win. So there's a little bit of an individual / team concept to it that is definitely unique. And then the thing I like about it the most is just the natural conditioning side, where the kids are outside running in the sand. There's not much better conditioning than running in sand or jumping in sand. And then there's no, I guess I'll call it, there's no hiding. Like an indoor, if you can't pass, we put you in the corner or we sub you out of the game and put someone else in. When you're playing beach, if you can't pass, you're getting served. There's no subs. There's nowhere to hide. You kind of have to work your way through mentally to handle the pressure of, I was unsuccessful. Now, how can I succeed? So I think it definitely helps the mental side too.
Gotcha. Yeah, kind of like in baseball, you mentioned, Coach. You know, you can hide somebody out there kind of in right field in little league, but boy, when you're that spot, that ball seems to find you.
It absolutely does.
A great explanation in terms of the differences. All right, now, Coach, like I said, you're the all-time winningest volleyball coach in College of Charleston history. You won championships. You won regional matches, obviously in the NCAAs. But I would have to think, Coach, a very special recognition. Just named a couple of weeks ago, you were named to the EIBA Hall of Fame. The EIBA stands for Eastern Intercollegiate Volleyball Association. And Jason, congratulations.
Thank you.
What it meant to you to receive that honor.
It meant a lot. I think that all the great players that have played in the EIBA, which was our conference, so kind of similar to the CAA, and I just think about back when I was a freshman and how naive and inexperienced and things like that I was, and how much I grew as a player during that time, and all the great players that I had an opportunity to play with, and how much I learned. So I'm just extremely humbled to get this opportunity to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. And again, I tell my team this all the time. The thing that means the most to me is the relationships that you have with your team and the memories that you have along the way. And I just know that I would have never had this opportunity if I didn't have such great teammates and great coaches and friendships and things like that have lasted 20, 30 years and will last until I'm not around anymore. So I'm extremely humbled to have this opportunity, and grateful to all my teammates that dealt with me and all my coaches that dealt with me while I was maybe a little immature freshman or sophomore in college. And hopefully I grew. By the time I was a senior, I wasn't that annoying to my coach.
All right, Coach, I know during this time it's probably been maybe somewhat of a challenge in terms of staying in contact with your girls, having to do it over Zoom or the telephone, and making sure now that school's out, obviously they did what they needed to do in terms of the classroom, because once again, Coach, for the 3rd consecutive time, your girls had the highest APR out of all the teams in the athletic department. So it's needless to say, you absolutely have student athletes on your volleyball team.
Yeah, I was super, super proud of the team. They did such a good job making the transition to the virtual online classes and things like that. The team had about a 3.5 GPA. And we were one of the 4 teams that, along with men's basketball, women's golf, and I think women's soccer, that were in the top 10% in the NCAA for APR. And again, that just speaks a lot to them and their dedication to the academic side. So 3.5 for your entire team is an unbelievable accomplishment. I'm just super proud of the work that they put in.
Yeah, it's safe to say that that's serving an ace, Coach, where you can get a 3.5. in the classroom. And I know you've done just such a great job of really not even building, but taking this Charleston volleyball program to the next level. And you've had some very special ladies that have come through the program, played for you, and now doing big things in the community. And one I want to ask you about, Coach, is Callie McCown, working at the homeless shelter right now during this whole COVID crisis. Talk about when your former players do such amazing things in the community, how that makes you feel, because you have to think to a certain degree, because of what they've learned from you during your time here, they've carried that on past the College of Charleston.
Yeah, I think that as you said that, I started to get goosebumps and the hair standing up on my arms, just because it's something that is special to me. I think that the job of coaches, we coach and for our sport, but what you're trying to do is really just help develop people, so when they go out into the world, they're just ready for what the world has to offer to them, and that they excel in everything they do. And Callie was one of those players. She had such a great personality and related to people so well while she was here, and then going out and working in a homeless shelter and just doing what she's doing to help feed people and deal with the overwhelming situation that this pandemic has put in part of her world is just a great accomplishment for her, and speaks so highly of how she is as a person. So I would love to say I'm responsible for like 1% of what these guys have. I think that they've all been such great people, and from all the teachers and doctors and nurses and everyone that's out in the world doing so much. I'm just super proud that my team and players that have come through our program have been able to help as much as they have been able to.
Coach, there's something just special about your team, because as you're saying that, I think back to, I actually attend Coastal Community Church here in town, and started out with Marquise Pointer, who was a member of the men's basketball team, and his girlfriend, Kennedy. And I just remember, Coach, there were a couple of Sundays, maybe last year or the year before, where there would be, 5, 6, 7 of your volleyball players in church, every Sunday. And it was just, well, they obviously stood out because of how tall. You kind of figured they were either basketball players or volleyball players. But the fact that these young ladies still stay around, after, their playing days and their days at the college are over. And like you said, now teachers and nurses and just giving back, to the community. I just think it's special. And it just says a lot about, you and your program, and just what you're really building, because I know that's really important to you. Not necessarily what you do on the floor in the classroom, but serving, no pun intended, serving.
Yeah, no, it is. It really comes down to the athletic side. It's such a short period of time. It's an important time of your life, because I think it helps you grow and develop, but it's 4 years out of hopefully 70, 80, 90, 100 years of your life. And but it's also such a big growth period that it can have an impact that lasts forever. And so the relationships you have with your teammates, the desire to serve in the community and do more than just worry about yourself is something we really stress and hope to get them to believe in and continue on. And they've been such a great group for the 13 years that I've been here. They've really been a fun 60, 70 kids that I've had an opportunity to be a part of their lives. And I always love hearing from them and talking with them and checking in on them when things go on, and writing letters of recommendation, because there's not one of them that I wouldn't do anything for and help them in any way I possibly can. So I love them all, and I want the best for all of them.
All right. So now, Jason, since March, you've not been able to go sit in the stands for 6, 7, 8 hours a day and watch high school girls and club volleyball. Hadn't been able to hang out at the beach watching the beach volleyball team. So what has Jason Kepner been doing over the past 8 or 9 weeks since you've not been able to quote unquote do your job?
Well, you got to always try to find the bright side in things, and the bright side in this is I've got a great opportunity to spend so much more time with my family. We take bike rides all the time. My mother-in-law had a golf cart that we stole from her, so we take golf cart rides. And my son loves soccer, so we go in the backyard and play soccer and video games. And we got a small projector. We watch movies. Disney Plus is the greatest invention ever right now for my 7-year-old. She loves Disney Plus. So it's just been a great opportunity to kind of get back to some of the important things that are outside of everything else, and the importance of family, and really getting to spend some quality time. So that's been a lot of the stuff that we do. I've become a master of Zoom. I'm pretty good at Zoom calls right now. The first one I was on with my team, they were telling me what I needed to do. I'm like, I don't know how to make someone else the host. And Mickey was like, hey, up in the right-hand corner, push on this button, and then this drop-down menu. And I'm like, oh, man, this is embarrassing. So you kind of learn things that you're good at and things that you're not good at, and work on that. But for the most part, I've just been really trying to spend as much time with the family as I can, because once we start back up and start traveling, you kind of get back into that structure where you're away and missing out on things. So this has just been a great opportunity for me.
All right, so now for Cougar Nation that doesn't know, Jason Kepner is a huge, avid Philadelphia Eagle fan. So the question I need to ask Jason is, did the Eagles call you? Did you sign off on the Jalen Hurts draft pick in the second round? That's all Cougar Nation wants to know. In agreement with that pick.
I think that I do agree on it, because I think they're going to use him in an extremely creative way to get the most out of him and our quarterback Carson Wentz. So I think they're going to use them in tandem, and I think they're going to be really hard to stop, and they're going to go all the way to the Super Bowl this year. So that's my prediction.
As a Redskin fan, I hope that you're wrong. And of course, being NFC East rivals. And for those who also don't know, last year, Jason, what was the young lady's name? Her dad was the defensive coordinator for the Redskins that played for you.
Logan, yeah, she'll be a senior next year for us. Yeah, so that was always interesting. I rooted for your Redskins every time, except for when they played the Eagles. I couldn't do it.
Exactly.
But I that was the first time I rooted for the Redskins these past 3 years.
That's good stuff. Well, hey, man, again, congratulations on being named to the Hall of Fame, the EIBA Hall of Fame. Best of luck this upcoming year. Of course, if you want to catch a game at TD Arena, you can always log on to CofCsports.com and just click on the volleyball tab. Make sure you go all the way to the bottom, get the volleyball, not the beach volleyball that's to the top as I did today. But get the schedule, the player profiles, and go out and see Kemp and the ladies this year. It's going to be a special year there at TD Arena. Jason, thanks again, man.
Absolutely, Everett. Thanks for having me.
All right, that's Jason Kepner, the volleyball coach, joining us here on Chatting with the Cougars. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.